So this is the title of the resource. It comes in 4 parts. We looked at the challenges that we had when we moved into our space here and the methods that we used to engage with our young studio members in order to make the place that we have here today the success that we think it is. And so we worked with a young artist and designer as well to come up with a sort of visual identity for it and a design which is like playful, colourful, fun to use, the kind of thing that maybe young people might be excited visually by and want to use as like a workbook and a toolkit as well. So it's kind of like a dual use thing. It can be used, I guess, by individuals or as a tool that you can use in a session with a group of people. So it's called This Must Be Our Place, and it's investigations into the places where we live, work and play. So there's 4 parts to the resource. As we started making it, we realised that there was actually, it's such a massive, vast subject, and there's so many ways that we can think about getting to know our places that it kind of expanded into being these 4 separate chunks. So it's a bit more digestible maybe if you look at them in their separate the separate resources, but it can also it also works together really well. So the resource introduces some ideas, activities and actions that can be used to get us thinking differently about place. So there's 4 sections. We'll look more closely at section 3 a little bit later on in the session. We're just going to do one of the activities from that. So we've got the place you're in, the encounters in our place and go public, the politics of what makes a place, and green interventions in our place. And we're going to go through the resource and talk a little bit more about what those different sections are as we go through it. So we've written that placemaking is centred around looking, listening to and asking questions of the people who live, work and play in a particular place in order to understand their needs for that place and for their community as a whole. With this shared knowledge, we can come together to create a common vision for a place and in turn inspire a wider vision of the world that we live in. So we decided to add a glossary into this as well, because as we were learning about placemaking ourselves and with the young people that we work with, we found there was often a lot of words that were kind of bandied about that were not fully understood maybe by ourselves or the people we were working with. So we found that with our publications, what we'd started doing was just writing a really basic glossary in it so that we can use those words and get to understand them a little bit better. So we've also, with help of Angela from Green Space, offered a couple of ideas for awards that you could work into going through this resource. So you'll surely all be familiar with those ones there. It's just some ideas. So there's some resources in there as well for some further reading on some of the topics that we're talking about, and some links to some other artworks and interesting people making sort of interesting work.